Just seconds to go before the start of what promised to be one of the toughest motor races of the year. And on the front row of the grid, car number 2, Clay Regazzoni of Switzerland in his Ferrari. Alongside him, Patrick Depailler, car number 4 in his Tyrrell. These are the two men to watch. On the second row of the grid, Niki Lauda in his Ferrari and James Hunt of Britain in his McLaren. On the third row, Ronnie Peterson and Tom Price of Wales. 20 cars on the grid. There's Depailler ready for the off. And they're off. Superb start by Regazzoni. Regazzoni roaring into the first tight right-hander. That takes you down on this street circuit to Linden Avenue. There they are, roaring down Linden Avenue. Clay Regazzoni in the lead into the car park area. They zigzag through a car park. Clay Regazzoni in the lead. Looks like James Hunt second. James Hunt is second. And now they're coming onto the freeway section, onto Shoreline Drive, and up to a hairpin, a very tight 35-mile-an-hour hairpin. There they are, Regazzoni in the lead. James Hunt is second. And James seemed to be faltering a little bit there. I saw Depailler going past James Hunt, and it's put Clay Regazzoni into about a 2-second lead already. Past the sea, past the Pacific Ocean, with yachts in the harbour, 180 miles an hour, braking down to 35 miles an hour to the other end of the freeway. Regazzoni in the lead in the Ferrari. It's got to be very careful at this time. The tyres are still cold and they don't work at their optimum performance, so Clay Regazzoni taking it a little easy. Depailler second. It's so easy to make a mistake in these opening laps. This is a street circuit like Monaco, and they're turning right now onto what's called Ocean Boulevard. It's the main street of downtown Long-Beach. One lap completed. Clay Regazzoni in the lead. Number 4, Patrick Depailler second. James Hunt seems to have picked up. He's third. Niki Lauda's fourth. Diving down Linden Avenue again and into the car park area. It's only a 2-mile lap, and there's a car that's off. It looks like Gunnar Nielsen John Player Special. Gunnar Nielsen looks as if he's very much out of the race. There's a little bit of smoke there. I wonder if the car's going to catch fire. Oh, and there's a fire extinguisher gone off. So Marshall's very quick to spot that trouble. I can't see if Gunnar's all right, but certainly they're putting the fire out. I don't know how the car crashed at that point, because that's not a corner. That is on the main Shoreline Drive. There's plenty of fire extinguisher fluid. Let's hope that Gunnar isn't injured in that accident. Gunnar Nielsen, the young Swedish driver, took over from Ronnie Peterson as the John Player Team Motors leader. And here at the hairpin again at the end of the freeway. And it's still definitely Clay Regazzoni in the lead. Clay Regazzoni with Patrick Depailler second, James Hunt in third. And there's Regazzoni, the 500 brake horsepower Ferrari. A car that's been dominating Grand-Pri racing so far this year. It was Regazzoni's teammate Lauda that won the first 2 races of the year. The first one was in Brazil, the second one in South Africa. Regazzoni is generally considered to be the number 2 driver in the Ferrari team, but he's certainly making the running today. There he is, car number 2, red Ferrari, Depailler, Hunt. Depailler has a great success in practice. He loves the street racing. He prefers it to the normal circuit type racing. And then, yes, it is definitely Gunnar Nielsen's Lotus. It looked quite badly damaged. That won't be returning to the race. And I've just had a message that Gunnar isn't injured. He's ripped his neck a little bit, but otherwise he's unhurt. Now there's one of the big high-rise buildings at Longbeach, and you can see from that aerial helicopter shot the cars going around that hairpin. It's still Regazzoni in the lead. Regazzoni setting a very fast pace, lapping at about 86 miles an hour. Of course, along this stretch now, along Shoreline Drive, they're reaching 175, 180 miles an hour, but of course they have to brake from 2 hairpins to 35 miles an hour. Drivers don't like these hairpins very much, but it's braking into this hairpin where all the overtaking is going to be done. That's the spot where you can just slip inside somebody, outbrake them and pull out of the hairpin in the lead. Regazzoni, see the Swiss cross on his helmet. Regazzoni, the red and white helmet. 36-year-old driver, 6 years he's had with Ferrari now. Second still Depaille. Hunt still third. Hunt challenging Depaille. James will desperately want to get by now. He needs to win this race to stay in the championship hunt. On the end of lap 4, it's only along Ocean Boulevard. Along that road there's banks. There's even a porno cinema, believe it or not. Through the Twitchy car park section. Over 100,000 people have crowded into the Californian town to watch this race. First time it's been held, of course. America's answer to Monaco. The drivers don't like it quite as much as Monaco, but they still think it's a super circuit. There's a yellow flag waving. Now there's been an accident up at that hairpin, but there's a car being worked on. Yes, it's John Watson, Citibank, Penske. Oh, one of the American teams. What a tragedy for them. John's still sitting in the car. They seem to be doing something to the front of the car, the various mechanics. There's a wheel. Probably got a puncture. They're probably going to put another wheel on and hope that John Watson, the Irish driver, can limp back to the pits. Regazzoni still leading, car number 2. This is the old I call it old, a year-old Ferrari, the car that won the World Championship last year. Ferrari have got a new car on the stocks. It's called the T2, and the T stands for Transverso. That means it's got a transverse engine, transverse mounted gearbox. Superbly engineered car. There's a couple of the mechanics waiting for their car. They're Tom Price's mechanics, I believe. And Regazzoni very much in command of the motor race. And diving down Linden Avenue, that's a part of the track can really tax the transmissions. Several drive shafts broke in practice, and Ferrari had a little bit of trouble. If Ferrari aren't going to win this race, it could be because the drive shaft breaks at that point. It's an extraordinary scene, isn't it, to see these cars racing in the streets. There's a traffic light, for instance. Fortunately, it doesn't say red, green or anything. They've turned it off for today, of course. Past the Californian palm trees, past the sea, out in the ocean there is the Queen Mary's Palm. Queen Mary, now a hotel, of course, floating in concrete, believe it or not. You can see an aerial shot of the hairpin there. Hard braking. That is Carlos Reutemann's Brabham. Now Carlos Reutemann, we here had a shunt on the very first corner. A shunt with Vittorio Brambilla. That's the Brabham Alpha, the Alfa Romeo powered Brabham, new this year, definitely out of the race. But still out in front and looking very smooth too, Clay Regazzoni. Controversial driver, got involved in quite a lot of accidents in the early part of his career. Not at all popular. Of course, at the US Grand-Pri East, the race that was held at the end of last year, Clay was actually flagged for blocking Emerson Fittipaldi. Well, he certainly isn't blocking anybody today. There's nobody to block. He's out in a marvellous lead, about 5 seconds already. Regazzoni in the lead. Patrick Depaille second. Where's James Hunt? Is James Hunt still in the contest? No, he isn't. There is James Hunt's car. There is James Hunt's car being pushed out of the way. I've just had a message that he tangled with Patrick Depaille. James Hunt trying to take back second place, tangled with Patrick Depaille, is out of the race. What a tragedy for the young British driver. Out of the US Grand-Pri West after only 6 laps. Of course, that doesn't worry Clay Regazzoni. He won't know that Hunt's out of the race yet. And there is Hunt walking back, and he does not look happy at all. Look at Hunt striding forward. He looks very angry to me, running across the road. Hunt, go back to the pits and report to his team manager, Teddy Mayer, what happened. Regazzoni still in a commanding lead. I just don't think anybody's going to challenge Regazzoni today. He is on superb. There's the pit boards coming out now. One of those pit boards may tell Regazzoni that Hunt is out of the race. And of course he'll be very relieved because Hunt won't be one of his main challengers. There's Regazzoni, the complete length of Ocean Boulevard. That's his lead. And here's the Lauda second. By third, Jody Scheckter number 3, 4th, Tom Price, Ronnie Peterson, Jean-Pierre Jarier. There's the other Brabham Alpha, Carlos Yes, that's John Watson. He obviously, after we saw him earlier, he's got back to the pits and they're working on the car, hoping to get it back in the race. Regazzoni's only won three Grand-Pri races in his career. He's taken part in 75, and that is Jody Scheckter's car. Jody's obviously out of the race. Look at those black marks. He's obviously lost it under braking, had some failure. We can't see any sign of Jody. I don't think he's injured, but Jody's out of the race. And there's Jean-Pierre Jarier. Now this is a good little battle. Jean-Pierre Jarier, France, Jochen Mass. And if you see that great big car number 26, the big airbox, that's the French, all-French Ligier Matra. That uses the Matra engine, which has powered Matra cars to victory in 3 Le Mans races over the last few years. There's Jean-Pierre Jarier. Helicopter following the cars round through the buildings. This is lap 40 now. We're on lap 40. Halfway through the race, and this is the battle for 4th place. In 4th place at the moment, Jean-Pierre Jarier, then Jochen Mass, then Lafitte in the Ligier. In the lead. Oh, look at that overtaking manoeuvre. The Ligier trying to go through, brakes locked up, and he's done it. Jacques Lafitte has taken 5th place in that manoeuvre. Just look at that French car with the big airbox, and understand now why the British journalists have dubbed it the Flying Teapot. Car number 17, Jean-Pierre Jarier, the Don Nichols Shadow Team. Don Nichols, an American entrant, but the car's built in Britain, built in Northampton, in fact. And that's definitely the best battle of the race. Regazzoni's still leading, Lauda second. Depay is clawed his way back to third. He had a spin. Depay is now third. And this is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th place. These places matter a lot because World Championship points, 3 points, 2 points and 1 point hang on this battle. Now about 12 cars left in the race. Several problems. So 4 cars already eliminated in accidents. Fortunately nobody hurt. And the Ligier, look at the speed of that Matra engine, going past Jean-Pierre Jarier. Can he do it? Wheel to wheel at 170 miles an hour. He's definitely got the speed. Braking now into the hairpin. This Ligier Matra only in the 3rd race of its career, and already looking as if, given a bit more development, it could be a winner. Jacques Lafitte, star of Formula 2 racing last year. 32-year-old, comes from Magny-Cours in central France, used to be a racing mechanic. Short, dark, stocky driver, totally dedicated to racing. And there's Jochen Mass. Jochen Mass, the German, former merchant seaman, one of the new stars of Grand-Pri racing. Of course, he's James Hunt's teammate, so the McLaren team has still got a driver in the race. This is wheel-to-wheel stuff. This is what the crowd came to see. Worrying Jarier. Lafitte, having passed both of them, will be trying to pull away at this time. Ligier car built by a former racer himself, Guy Ligier, not only a racer, a former French rugby international, but many of the personnel that work on that team are ex-Matra personnel, the designers, the mechanics, the engineers. They all work for Matra. One of the top teams in motor racing. They used to take part, and there Alan Jones is in trouble. Alan Jones in the Surtees, obviously in engine trouble. He was lying in 8th place. That's a shame for Team Surtees. And yes, Lafitte is pulling away. Lafitte's pulling away in 4th place. The car has the most fantastic sound to it, totally different to any of the other cars. Oh, and really sliding the back out there. V12 engine, it literally screams, this engine. That's going to have to come off the car very soon. The regulations change in Spain, which is the next World Championship Grand Prix, and that airbox won't be allowed anymore. There's a lovely close-up the freeway. Mass challenging, Mass nibbling away, taking a tighter line round the hairpin. Mass very close behind and making a passing manoeuvre down the outside, getting in the slipstream and then pulling out. Look at Mass alongside. And he's going to do it side by side. Taking a closer line, accelerating out first gear, second gear, the engine's revving into 11,000, both have got Cosworth Ford V8 engines in the rev right up to 11,000, give 480 brake horsepower. Car number 17, Jean-Pierre Jarier from France, lives in Paris, a former economics student actually. He didn't pass his exams, he got too involved with motor racing. On his day a brilliant driver, very unlucky on occasions, other times doesn't shake at all, but having a good day today. And there is Regazzoni just about to overtake Ronnie Peterson. Ronnie Peterson, who made a pit stop, had been fourth. Ronnie Peterson being overtaken. Now, here's Mass again with Jarier. Mass and Jarier, 170 miles an hour in just 3 feet. And he's making the manoeuvre, and he's through. Malcolm Mass has overtaken Jean-Pierre Jarier, outbraked him into that hairpin. No, you weren't mistaken, you did catch a glimpse there of the Queen Mary in the background as that was taking place, that manoeuvre. After Mass, former merchant seaman, and there, Regazzoni now just on his very last lap. Can he make it five successive wins for Ferrari? On the last lap, it's the very last lap now. The last lap of the 80 round this tortuous 2-mile circuit. Regazzoni, surely nothing can go wrong now. 40 seconds lead, I believe, that this Swiss has got. That's the hairpin for the last time. Niki Lauda is still second. Niki Lauda is still second, but Niki Lauda's got a bit of gearbox trouble. He is slipping back a little way. Down to the other hairpin. Third, Patrick Depailler. But the man who's going to win the motor race, only the 4th Grand-Prix of his career, Regazzoni, almost the oldest man in the race, apart from Vittorio Brambilla, 36, Regazzoni, the oldest man in his race, and this is his finest hour. Certainly the best race I've ever seen Regazzoni drive. He hasn't put a wheel wrong on this tight circuit, and believe me, driving on these town circuits, you can so easily just clip a wall or a curbstone and put yourself out. And there's the Ferrari coming onto the final straight. Onto the final straight now, waiting. There's the man with the flag. And Regazzoni wins the US Grand-Prix at Long-Bich, California, flipping up his visor, acknowledging the crowd. It's all over now. What he's got to look forward to now is the champagne, the interviews. And Ronnie Peterson finishes the race. Ronnie Peterson 2 laps behind. There's Jacques Lafitte. Jacques Lafitte finishes after a superb drive, 4th place, the first championship points for the Ligier Matra. Regazzoni, the crowd all around, his mechanics waiting to say hello, congratulate him. He's a Swiss Italian, he speaks Italian, of course all the mechanics Italian. There's John Watson, did finish the race after all. Carlos Pace, another finisher after a pit stop. There's Alan Jones at Surtees, finished in the 11th place, and Regazzoni with the spoils of victory, and Depailler comes up, pats him not on the back, on the front in fact. Regazzoni of Switzerland, the winner of the US Grand-Prix West, the first ever race around the streets of Long Beach, California, and I say definitely not the last race. Regazzoni, a superb victor.
Regazzoni seems quite shaken by this magnificent trophy, which is a model of the Queen Mary on a shelf against the metallic background, the trophy offered by the city of Long Beach, California, for this race. Dan Jarier playing announcer now. Patrick. A nice trophy to take back.